guys. Hope everybody's doing okay. This is going to be with the band today. There's some Pilates things in it, but it'll be a little bit more about the extremities. Some people have been asking for a little bit more, something a little bit different to mix things up, so that's great. Just want to talk to you very quickly about the bands first. You've got a lot of different manufacturers out there, and they kind of have their own thing going. So one's red may not be the same thing as somebody else's red. So the best thing to do when you're buying your bands is to, there's light, medium, and heavy, and then heavier, is to ask the manufacturers what they mean by that. The other thing you want to consider, and this is probably a medium, is the length. It's probably a good idea to get a longer one. They kind of get in the way a little bit, but they always have the option of doubling if you want to, or cutting it short if you end up deciding it's too long. But this one's about 6 feet long, and it allows you to do a couple things. You'll see as we're getting on with things what I mean by that. So there's a couple ways you can go here, and I think today I'm probably going to do more of a mat thing, and then I'll give you one where you're more standing. It'd be a bit more challenging, and then it incorporates a bit more balance. So we'll just kind of see where this goes. Give me some feedback. That'll all be great. Okay. So let's start you sitting. You're going to need a band and a mat. All right. Knees a little wonky today because it's creaky out, but that's okay. So do bands. You're going to use that. Nice cross-legged position here. Just breathe, inhaling in and exhaling out. If you notice, a lot of times people breathe and they heat their chest breathers, right? Or the ribs go up and forward. So what I want you to try to do, just do a few breaths without the band, okay? Because you're going to use it in about a minute. All right, and stop. Let's take the band now, and you're going to put it around the lower rib cage area. Okay, underneath the armpits. Cross it lightly in front. The elbows are lightly hugging the sides of the body. Palms are up, and then rotate the forearms outwards, just so the band snugs up a little bit. You don't want to cut yourself in half. All right, now we're sitting with good posture. We've gone over this in previous videos. The hipster belt is drawn in, the belly button, right? Stacking up the spine, collarbone is wide. So now when you breathe, inhaling and exhaling, what I want you to start thinking about is where do you feel it against the band? And a lot of times, if you shut your visual pathway off, that's just a fancy way of saying close your eyes. So try to close your eyes and tune into your breathing. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. A lot of us are going to feel that maybe we're not pushing into the back of the ribs on one side as much as we are on the other. When you keep breathing, I'm going to open my eyes, and you can open your eyes just to see what I'm going to do. But when you breathe, keep going, keep breathing. Your ribs are like bucket handles. They go out and back, and we can talk a lot more about it, but let's just keep that simple, okay? And what you want to try to do is try to draw your breath in so that your bucket handles, your ribs kind of expand out to the sides and a little bit more to the back, because that seems to be where people get stuck. The front and up kind of goes a little too easy a lot of times, okay? So that's just something to think about. Let's do 2 more times here. Nice and relaxing. And 1 more time here. And bring it back to center. Good. You can just let the bands go for a minute. Hand to the front of the shoulder. I just love story things this way. Forward, open, and back down. And again, forward. Reach the elbows away and back down. Let's do 2 more times. And reach. And let's do 1 more. And I want to show you one more little thing that's kind of cool. You're going to take your fingers to the sternal notch there. No, not in it. Just around it lightly. Okay. Let the elbows drop down. And I want you, with the finger pads, not fingernails, lightly against the skin there, okay? And there's a lot of bony prominences there, but let the weight of your elbows pull down toward your hips so that your fingers are pulling down and open. There's a lot of myofascial lines here. But what I'm going to ask you to think about is hopefully it gets you to open up the chest a little bit more, and then it's kind of a back the doorway of getting you to think of sliding the shoulder blades down the back, okay? Let's do that last one there and relax. Okay, great. Let's snug that up against the back again. Hands are going to be forward. And as we push out and back, you want to make sure you're not leaning away. Okay, so you're going to draw those ribs down. And if we're pushing too high, maybe the shoulders jack up a little bit, so lower the arms a little bit because we're just getting started. All right, elbows are bending. Draw the hipster belts in. Pushing down through the sit bones, pulling up out of the sit bones with that hipster belt, pulling up with the top of your head, the samurai top knot. Okay, exhaling. Now you're going to start to feel your pecs there. Right, you want to make sure you're not rounding into the back yet. That's coming. Hang on. All right, let's do 2 more here. Let's do 1 more here. Hold it there. Now, as you exhale, scoop. It's not about hunching the shoulders. It's about scooping the hipster belt in, rolling off the sit bones, drawing the belly button in, pulling the rib cage back, looking at the belly button, and then you're going to roll back on top of the sit bones, Lengthen the spine, bend the elbows. And again, exhale out. Inhale again. Exhale, scoop hips to belt. Belly button, lower rib cage, rolling back off the sit bones, rolling back up, stack the vertebra, elbows bend down, shoulders are out of the neck. One more time, pushing out. Exhale, scoop hips to belts. Belly button, lower rib cage, scoop back and roll it up one piece at a time. Elbows, let's do one more. And again, push out. Good. Lower ribs are drawn in. Exhale, scoop hips to belt. Belly button, lower rib cage, scoop all the way back up. Good. And arms go down. Nice. Now let's take a moment here just to roll out the shoulders again in case you have any tension. The tubing's going to come across the front. So as you put your fingers in the front of the knees there, roll out the shoulders, elbows float down to the hips, but the body's not slumping, and the knuckles start to float up. You're holding the tubing. We went over this in another video, so don't go too high here. But you just squeeze the shoulder blades together. No tension significantly in the arms or in the hands. You want that activation to be in that, right between the shoulder blades here in that upper back. Okay, once you get that, then you start to grow the movement and you push the walls away. And again, we've done this in a previous video, so we're not going to do too many of these, but it's a really nice way to get into what we're going to be doing next. Okay, drawing the rib cage in, making sure you're not rounding or popping the chest or vaulting forward. You also want to make sure that the shoulder's not hiking up into the ear. So doing the previous exercise of keeping those shoulder blades down into the back is worth it now, right? Keeping those lower rib cage drawn in. Let's do 3 more here, holding those walls apart. And 2 more here. Good. And 1 more. Hold. Chin is level with the floor as you look over one hand. Just kind of notice how the cervical rotation's happening. Back through center, the other way. Back through center. And as you start to lower the arms slowly, keep the body pulled up. Feel the work in that armpit area. Down slowly, slowly, slowly. When we do this standing series, we're going to do a lot more of this. Good. And relax. Nice. So now what you're going to do with this band is you're going to scoot it. And it always helps to have a kind of flat, okay, as opposed to kind of all rounded out. So you're going to sit your butt on it. And if you need a moment to round out your back, by all means, okay? You want to try to sit evenly on it, and you're going to gather the bands like so, the ends up, okay? I kind of put it in front, in the middle of my index finger and my thumbs. Now, I'm going to drop my elbows in and get my elbows in front of the bands. That's okay. You want to see that again? Okay, so here we go. I'm holding, thumbs are up. I'm going to move my arms out to the side. Bend the elbows so they come in front of the bands. See? Cool. You got it. Okay, now draw the rib cage in. All right, now you can adjust the tension as you need to, but as the arms go up, the shoulders stay down. Now notice that the arms are going slightly forward of the head. I'm not a big fan of doing a lot of overhead presses, but what I do like about this is that you're going to feel the resistance of the bands when your arms are coming back down. And it kind of helps you get a little bit more aware of the shoulder blade sliding down the back. Okay, we're going to start to do a single arm first and see what happens here. And then the left, no tension in the neck, and then both. Let's do 2 arms. Okay, twice here. Exhale it up, push down into the sit bones, draw the hips to belt, and right arm goes up first, anchor into that right sit bone. Left arm goes up next, anchor into that left sit bone. Both arms, exhale. Right, beautiful, you're doing awesome. Okay, keep your focus straight ahead, right? Right arm, push into the right sit bone, shoulder stays out of the ear. This should feel familiar to some of you guys. Left arm, same thing, both arms. If you've been working the kinesis station 2. Yeah, all right, good, and again. Right arm, push into the right sit bone, no shoulders into the ears. Left arm, good, and again, palms stay facing forward, even on the inactive arm, right? Let's do finish up that last one there, and relax, awesome. You're gonna take the band now and put it around your feet, around the balls of the feet, like so, okay? Make sure they're pretty centered. I put powder on my band because I notice when I start to sweat a lot, I get a little scrunchy, so just pass that on to you, okay? Elbows are lightly into the sides of the body, sitting up tall, feet are hip distance apart, okay? Feet are slightly flexed. So as you pull the elbows in, scoop the hips to belt and curl the tailbone under. Watch out for the shoulder hunch. Pull the rib cage in until the back of your waistband's on the floor, and then scoop to roll up one piece at a time. The band will actually assist, so it's kind of cool. Scoop in hips to belt, curl that tailbone onto the heel. Draw the belly button in, the back of the waistband in that. Now pull back with the rib cage. Scoop in to roll up one piece at a time. All right, nice. And again, exhale, scoop hips to belt. And belly button. And lower rib cage. And scoop all that in again, rolling out through the spine. Nice. And again, exhale, scoop. You got a choice here of coming up to sitting vertical every single time. We're staying just slightly behind the sit bones here, slightly rounded, your choice here, okay? And exhale, so you've got to watch the shoulders hunching forward. So we did that finger spread, right, at the sternal notch and pull those elbows down to the hips to widen the collarbone. You're thinking of that here. Okay, we're gonna do 2 more here. So scoop hips to belt, belly button, lower rib cage. Scoop to pull in one piece at a time. We're gonna do 1 more. This one's gonna stay down. The shoulder blades are off and hold it right here as we crawl up and down 1 and exhale. And the elbows can be down by the hips, which is fine and dandy. All right, but float them a little higher. Let's see what happens. Yeah, and exhale up. Oh, it gets more interesting, yeah. You're pressing against your outer heels. Make sure the knees are not buckling inwards, right? You want to try to keep your legs in a parallel position. Exhale up and down. And exhale. If you're getting tired, lower the elbows. And if your neck is straining, put your head down. But you want to try to keep a level gaze. Maybe looking at your toes is a good thing, so the back of the neck stays long. Scoop that hipster belt in. Draw the belly button into the spine. Let's do 2 more here. Good. Let's do 1 more here. Roll it back down. Oh, that was fun. All right. I'm going to roll over to the other side, but I want you to bring your knees in, and I'm going to roll over. And as you bring your knees into the chest, just get a nice lower back stretch. Okay? Here we go. And I want you to put the band towards your heels, okay? So if you see where my feet are, it's closer towards the heels. It's not near the ball of the foot anymore, okay? So arch heel. The more you get it to the heels, the more you're going to feel it in your glutes. Oh, the cat's out of the bag now. All right. Hands are holding it like this with a thumbs up, right? Okay. And the feet are hip distance apart. We can play with that too, right? So as we exhale out and back in and exhale out, just try a few of these first. We're in a neutral spine position here. So as you're pressing out, we're going to start to feel a little bit more activation in that outer hip area. But I just want you to kind of be aware of where we are here, that it's not just the toes turning in, it's pressing with those outer heels, getting those butt pockets to fire, bend the knees. Okie dokie. Now, really important here, guys, that when the legs press out, that you maintain an imprinted position, that the lower back is pulled into the mat because you're recruiting your core. Okay, so here we are, tabletop position. If your back gets tight, sometimes I draw my knees a little bit closer because it feels good, all right? That's up to you. All right, so as we exhale, press those heels out in a high diagonal, arms stay slightly bent, elbows into the hips. Drive the heels, the outer heel, lower back stays imprinted into the floor, and back in for 1. So you're gonna have to play, okay, and back in for 2. It's, wow, maybe my feet have to go a little bit higher, and back in for 3. Maybe they don't go out as far, that's okay. And in for 4, and exhale, press. Maybe my knees are starting to knock in, right? Oh yeah, so you've gotta think of keeping your legs in that parallel position. There's a lot of feedback coming in here. And exhale out. My ribs popping. You got to draw those ribs down without pushing your head into the mat. Let's do 2 more here and exhale out. And let's do 1 more here and exhale out. Legs stay in tabletop position, okay? Arms are bent here. Elbows, and we're going to slide our hands to the very ends of your tubing. See what I'm doing? Okay, don't let go of it. Arms are going to be long. Exhale out in a V position. And back for 1 and exhale out. Now when you V the arms up, okay, and what I want you to remember is that you want to make sure you're not sliding your head into the mat. Keep the back of the neck long. The other things to think about, okay, is to make sure that your lower ribs are drawn down, that you're not arching your back. See what I'm doing there? Arching my back and releasing. Good, the back of the neck stay long. A nice place to look, I think, is your toes. And exhale out. Good. And back and shoulders stay out of the ears. You've got a nice long neck here. We're going to do 2 more. And then we're going to do 1 more. Hold the arms long, okay? You can bring the feet together if it's more difficult. Knees can come in a little closer to lower back stretch. Exhale out. And back in for 1. And exhale out. And back in for, if your arms get tired, bend the arms, bring them back in, right? If your lower back starts to get pulled off the floor, bring the feet up higher, not lower. If you want more of a challenge, by the way, and back in. And exhale out. You can always cross them. Oh, that makes it much more interesting. I bring the feet a little closer together. We're all going to be doing that shortly, okay? And exhale out and back in. And let's do 1 more. Bring it back in. Feet come close together. Give your lower back a stretch. We're going to cross the hand. Yep, so we can all feel what that feels like now. Everybody's okay? All right, cool. Now, arms come up. V arms, pull the rib cage in, hold that position. Remember, alternate position is here, okay?
Draw the belly button in, a nice visual focus on the tip of the knees. Scoop that hipster belt in. You're going to reach your heels for that high diagonal where the wall connects to the ceiling. Exhale out. And the elbows can come in for one, right? Now notice I'm bending my elbows towards the knees. And exhale out. And in for two. Option here is to bring the head up off the floor. I find that strains the neck quite a bit though, so you can keep the head down. But you got to really work harder to pull the rib cage in. Press with the outer heels because there's a tendency for your feet to kind of slope inwards. See what I'm doing here? You got to press your outer heels into the band a little bit more. This is definitely challenging, okay? You got to really work hard to keep the lower ribs pulled in and back in. So again, you can bend the elbows or bring the arms back in, or you can keep them straight. You got a choice here. All right, we're going to do one more here. Exhale out and then bring the legs in. Fun. Oh. All right, you're putting one foot into the band like so, okay? And again, you want to make sure that that band is closer towards the heel rather than on the ball of the foot, okay? We can keep the band crossed, that's fine. Okay, all right, and then you're going to slide your hands to the ends. Great. Slide this leg down into the floor, toe, ball, heel. Okay, oh, let's take our thumbs up facing us, sorry, okay? So, as the knee comes up, remember now, this leg, the one that's on the floor, and I'm working on the right leg into the band, you're really pushing down through that heel, so you're opening up the hips. So that's what's going on this leg. It's not just lying there passively, okay? For now, that's going to change. So bands are crossed, elbows are in, shoulders are down out of the ears. You can vary the tension by choking, interrupting. You're going to have to do that periodically, okay? So as you drive the heel down, take a moment to open up the hip and back in for what I'm talking about, the hip of the band leg, the right leg. Drive that heel down and back in. And if you have this here and you're fine, stay here, it's cool. All right, otherwise you can start to bring the other leg up into a tabletop position, okay? And back in, and elbows are in, and back in, arms are stationary here for now. And back in, two more times. Okay, the non-band leg is stationary, and then we pull a little higher. We're going to start to do reciprocal movement here. And this is where it starts to go, uh-oh. Now if you're like, uh-oh, my biceps are burning, my brain is firing a little bit too much, that's okay. We're going to leave it where it is. Otherwise, what we can do is as the leg, the band leg presses down, is to reach the arms up and back in for one. Elbows come in and exhale up. I'm going a little higher towards the ceiling, notice, rather than going over my head along the mat, okay? You're going to feel it into the anterior delts a little bit more. And back in. Don't be in a big rush here. Scoop the hips or belts and sink the ribs. Uh-oh. I think I've got two more here. Sorry, guys. One more. Hold. And then as you bring the leg back up, uncross the band, slide the free leg down into the floor, toe ball heel. Remember, it's not lying there passively. Arms are going to be towards the ends of the bands. The knuckles are going to be somewhere between your hips and your shoulders, okay? Now the band should be in the mid part of your foot or closer towards the heel is fine. Single leg circles, which we've done before, okay? So we're not going to do too many of these, but remember with this, reverse the circle, that when you start to bring the arms in closer, there's less tension on the tubing, and it's a lot more work to stabilize for your core, okay? So reversing every four. Slide the knuckles down past the hips. Be a lot more aware of your upper back. Are you pushing your head into the mat? Reverse every two. Right? And hold. Awesome. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is take your band leg and cross it over your belly button. That's exactly what you don't want to do on this one. So wherever it is, and by the way, if your flexibility is limited, you can either bend the knee, keeping your foot flat to the ceiling, or move the band to your shin. Either is fine, okay? So I'm going to do this version here, and I'll do the other one on the other side if I remember. Press the back of your upper arms, the back of your knuckles into the mat, and slide those knuckles down past the hips. Activate the triceps and the upper back muscles. As you press your heel to the ceiling, your hips are going to roll to your left and back down forward. You're going to feel something else too. You're going to feel your left glute firing. Now the bottom leg, the non-band leg, is going to laterally rotate. You're probably going to feel the outer edge of your ankle on the floor. That's okay. And back in. We're going to let that slight rotation happen here to get the glute firing. All right, and exhale up. Now remember, as you press the heel upwards, you maintain the pressure with your arms, the resistance of the tubing, and you're not going to let that leg cross over your belly button. Okay, straight up to the ceiling. Oh, you're liking this one. And exhale, up. Let's do 2 more, and exhale, up. Let's do 1 more, hold, and bring it on. Yay. Take a moment now, band the tubing up in your left hand, okay? Reach that tubing up, reach that left heel down, and draw that right knee into the shoulder. This is one of my favorite stretches. Good, and turn your nose towards that armpit. Open up that left hip, right? Fold that leg across the body if you want to. Just don't fall off the mat. Good, open up that chest and shoulder and bring it back to center. A little bit truncated there. We're going to take the tubing and put it on the other side now. Hopefully I remember the order of events here. Again, it's not at the ball of the foot. It's in the arch or closer to the heel would even be better. You're going to even it up, cross, okay? You're going to hold on to it with your thumbs facing you. Now remember, the bottom leg is not passive, okay? Try to spiral that inner thigh inwards on this version, okay? And as we start to lower, remember, the lower the band is towards your heel, the more you're going to feel in your glutes. That'll be awesome. Elbows are hugging in lightly, but the shoulders are back because the collarbone is wide, okay? So as you start to push that heel down underneath you, it doesn't have to go too low. It's hovering that mat. You're going to feel your glute fire and resist it back up. And exhale, press. Open up the hip and resist it back up. And exhale, press. Draw the hipster belts in. And resist it back up. And exhale, press. And if you're happy with this, stay with this. That's totally fine. And exhale, press. If you want a little bit more, bring it back in. The next time it presses, bring your free knee up. And resist. If we start to do a reciprocal movement, a bike, right? And back, and one leg goes up, one leg goes down. And remember, even though the other leg is not in the band, it's still actively reaching out to the heel. The next time that the band leg reaches down, we can reach the arms up. Now remember, they don't have to go behind you, but a little bit higher up this time perhaps, right? Drawing the rib cage down and back. And the movement of the arms is not going to be as big. Feel the hips open. You're going to feel your core muscle engaging too. By the way, if I didn't say it before you start using your bands, you want to make sure that they don't have any rips in them, because the last thing you want happening is them snapping while you're doing something like this. All right, let's do 2 more here. Okay, better late than never. 1 more, hold. Good. As you bring the leg back up, you might want to take a minute to check now, okay? Sorry, guys. All right, you're taking your hands to the ends of the bands and make sure it's closer to the heel again, or in the arch at least. Slide the leg down into the floor, toe ball heel, okay? Spiral that inner thigh inwards. Now, the shoulders and the hips, your knuckles are somewhere in the middle of those, not shoulder height, not down by your hips on the diagonal. Press the back of your upper arms and the back of your fists into the mat. Single leg circles again, okay? We're going to do 4 in each direction. And I want you today to focus a little bit more. I want you to keep going on the rib cage area. Okay, that's the first thing I want you to be thinking about. The other thing you want you to be thinking about is spiraling inner thigh inwards and keeping that hip open, okay? So there's quite a few things for you to be thinking about. As your arms start to come in closer towards your hips, you start to feel more slackness in the tubing. You've got to stabilize one way to keep going. But the things I want you to think about here, 4 in each direction, is sliding those knuckles down past the hips. And you know it's not the knuckles. It's the shoulder blade sliding down the back. Hold that last one there. Okay. This is where the foot on the mat starts to laterally rotate and let it. The band leg wants to cross over your belly button. So go ahead, do it now. Get it out of your system. Good. Now, as you bring the foot, it's lined up over your hip. You can bend the knee if you need to, or again, I'm going to show you the variation I was talking about on the other side. The tubing is in your lower shin area, and you're going to have to choke up on the tubings to accommodate for this. You're going to press your knee as if it was your foot up to the ceiling. Hips are going to roll to the left if your left foot is into the band, okay? And exhale up, press. And down for 2. And exhale now. As the hips rotate, you're going to probably feel, keep going, the outer edge of your right ankle. That's the leg that's on the mat. It will be connecting into the floor because your glutes laterally rotate that leg. You should be feeling your right glutes firing, by the way. All right, and remember, whether the knee's bent or whether the knee is, or the leg is straight in the band leg, I want you to keep going. I'm going to go back to the other version. All right, you want to make sure it doesn't cross over the midline. Let's do 2 more here. You're still reaching those knuckles down past the hips, pressing the back of your fist, the back of your upper arms into the mat. Let's do 1 more here, hold, and then slowly bring it in. Nice. Okay. Ball that tubing up in your right hand. Reach that right arm over your head as you push down into that right heel. Hook your left arm underneath that left elbow and draw that knee up into that left shoulder, slightly to the outside. Good, and turn your nose to that knee so you can try to work that stretch to where you need it, okay? Draw the knees in towards those shoulders, flex the feet to the ceiling, modified happy baby. Slide the chin down into the throat. If your flexibility allows you to reach down along the inner calf area and hold on to the outer edges of your heels, that'd be fine, but you don't have to do that. And then you're using the back of your elbows into the back of the legs. Reach out through one leg and then the other. Okay, and if your flexibility is limited, prop your elbows on the floor and support yourself on the outer calf area there, okay? If you want more of a stretch, hands go to the inner calf area. If your flexibility is there, a little bit of overpressure. And on your exhale, reach those heels up. Squeeze the inner thigh groin area. Hands are going to be in the hips. Good. Rotate the legs into parallel. Fold the knees into the chest. 3, 2. And as you exhale, roll it up to sitting. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to face you again. How's everybody doing so far? My hat's a little crooked. Let me fix it. Okay, so anyway, Joan, did you see it? I love it. Thank you. It's keeping me warm because it's kind of chilly today. This was kind of funky because you kind of have to transition, and I'm not a big fan of like funky transitions, but so be it. Let's give this a shot. So as you're kneeling, you're going to line your band up on the floor, and hopefully you're on the floor, not on an elevated surface. I'm slightly freaking out here, but it's okay. If I fall, it's not part of the exercise. Great, okay. So get yourself closer to the end of your band. So if you're kneeling on your band, the short end is closest to your left leg, okay? Again, you want to get this nice drawing up to the hipster belt and sliding that tailbone down. Now in this case, to the back of your knees, okay? So you've got all that connection through there. We're going to take a hold of the tubing. If you're kneeling, if the short end is toward your left knee, you're going to hold on to the tubing with your left hand. You're not going to be able to see me, but my arm's going to go straight up over my head, okay? All right, and I'm going to try, and then the other arm's coming out to the side. So I'm going to sit to do this, but you're going to be kneeling to do this, just so you can see me better, okay? So here you go, got it? So you're kneeling, but I'm sitting. Elbow bends in, shoulder stays down, elbow comes into the hip, and press out 1. Now the other arm that's not moving is out in a V position. That shoulder blade, I want you to keep going, is plugged down into the back, okay? So there's none of this hiking up into the shoulder or crossing over your head. All right, now we're pushing straight out and slightly forward of the body, about shoulder height. And then you can start to find a few where you push slightly lower and back. It almost matches the diagonal of your top arm. And just feel the work in that upper back area. And then maybe you go back to that shoulder height one again, yeah? And exhale up. Maybe you start to try to do a V one. Woo, yeah. All right, and so when you're kneeling, okay, you're going to find a lot more stabilizing that has to go on there, okay? So this is what's going on with the arms. Hold that position. You can lengthen to one side. Notice the arms are not really moving too much. It's your body, okay? Now again, you're kneeling, and I'll be kneeling shortly. We're going to do one more here. Bring it back to center, okay? Awesome. So as you come out of that now, hopefully your knees are feeling okay. Then what I want you to do now is stay close to the short side, okay? You're going to stay right here. And you're going to take your right foot into the tubing like me, okay? And this left hand goes on the mat, and I don't see that I'm on an elevated surface. Okay, it's only 2 feet. Elbow comes in. Okay, now as I push the heel out on diagonal and back in, I'm going to turn a little bit sideways. You guys keep going. And back in. You can adjust the tension with the hand. Okay, push the heel out. Now the heel is pushing out with that outer edge of the right heel so that you feel your butt pocket, okay? I like to slightly rotate my body a little bit forward and bring the heel slightly behind me, okay? You can also add a reach. Now notice my elbow is in front of the tubing, okay? And exhale out. You're not sinking into the shoulder blade of the one that's on the mat. As you reach the arm up and press the heel, you got to pull the rib cage in. Oh, this is fun. Yeah. We're going to do one more here. Hold it there. Lower the leg and reach. You don't have to go high. Lower and reach. And lower. I'm thinking kinesis station number 1. and lower. Elbow stays rotated open. Lower rib cage draws in. You can also put your hand on your forehead. Lower and reach. Down, circle, down, back. Little half circles. All right, so it's a little U. And back and down. Watch the ribs. And back. Watch the elbow coming forward, unless you're getting tired. And if you are, then you bring your arm back down. Hold that last one there. Bring it back down. Ooh, boy, oh boy. Now, you're kneeling, okay? And see the far foot, which is your right foot. That knee's open. Okay, we're good there. I'm going to take this in your left hand, take your elbow to the front of your hip. The palm is up, the thumb is out. Let's rotate up and back and draw the rib cage in. And back in external rotation. Now that's a really important exercise for the rotator cuff muscles. You've got to work the external rotation, because if those rotators are not strong enough, any of the overhead reaches that you do are going to be compromised to an extent, okay? Feel how the rib cage wants to pop and your tail wants to tilt out the back. You got to stabilize here. Let's do 2 more here. And this knee's pressing open, by the way. Have a little butt pocket on the other leg. Yeah. And let's do 1 more hold. You're going to change your grip now. Okay, so that your knuckles are facing you and your thumb is facing your belly button. I'm going to go a little closer maybe to the ankle, but don't be a little overly aggressive yet. Now, try to keep your tailbone underneath you. Pull the rib cage and you're going to let the body round towards the knee and then back up for 1. Just the upper body first. Scooped around and back in for 2. The arm is not doing much right now. And back. You get a nice little stretch in the back of the rib cage area. And back in. Shoulder stays out of the neck though. And back in. Now your other version when we get into the exercise is you can go a little further. Notice the tailbone reaches back and the body rounds underneath. But let's not get into that right now. So this small rounding position is where we started. We're going to start to pull away and back in for 1. So now it's a little bit more of the upper body. I'm going to change my grip though, okay, so that my thumb is up. All right, my thumb is facing me, the elbow's moving out to the side. And again, reaching back, rib cage pulled in, a slight rotation here. Okay, pull the rib cage in. The elbow's driving back, but it's not the elbow driving back as much as the torso rotating. So don't force it, wherever you can go. That can become an extension. Back in and down. And again, pull, thumb up. And in and down. And again, pull, thumb up. If it's too tight for you, release the tension. So the band might be a little bit slack on the bottom of the movement. That's fine. What you're finding, the principles is plugging that shoulder blade down into the back are really important when you're doing this one here. You can let it go scoop and in and reach and down and scoop and in and reach. The knees still pressing open, scoop and in and reach and down. Nicely done. All right. So now, have a seat for a minute. You get to do all that on the other side. So what I'm talking about is sometimes the band kind of gets a little scrunchy and whatnot. Sometimes your knees need a little bit of a rest. So if you're having a seat while you're getting your band organized, that's fine. See me like this? So take a moment just to kind of open it up. You guys are feeling okay? All right, cool. So we're doing all that on the other side. Remember now, our right side is going to be closer to the shorter end. Okay? I'm going to sit on it in a minute, but you're in a parallel position, drawing the hipster belt in, sliding that tailbone down. Because I know you can't see my hands here. So just make believe I'm kneeling. Okay? My right side is closer to the short end. My right hand is going to hold the tubing. All right? And it's not directly over my head. It's slightly on the forward diagonal. So that shoulder blade is plugged into the back. My left hand is going to push out into the tubing. Yes. Shoulders out of the ear. Elbow pulls to the hip. And press out. I'm going to give you a slight angle here. The tubing is not, my arms are not behind me. They're slightly forward, so the tubing will not run interference with the nose, okay? Inhale. As you push the arm out, draw the rib cage in. And inhale, out, and exhale. That's about shoulder height there. You can start to try a few lower. The arm will match the diagonal there. Elbow pulls into the hip. A little bit of that tricep press. Feel the work in that armpit area. Draw that rib cage in. Back to that shoulder height area, right? No tension in the neck. If you're starting to get a little tense and you want to relax the tubing a little bit, by all means, okay? Start to press it up on the diagonal. And back and elbow to the hip. And back up. And back in. Let's do 1 more. Now you're kneeling. Go small here. Arms are not moving. It's a reach out of the hip. Good. Keep going.
Good, and breathing. I'll show you the next time. Hopefully I can figure out getting onto the floor and you'll be able to see it. And hold that last one there. Bring it back to center and relax. Great. All right, so now you're going to stay at the short end, okay? And you're going to take your left foot, holding onto the tube with your left hand. It feels like Simon Says. Oh my God. The right hand goes on the mat. It's like Twister, really. Okay. Put your left foot into the band, okay? Hug your elbow in. All right, that's a good place to start. So the knee comes in and pushes out. Now, if the band might run interference, your knee can be on the inside or the outside of the band, that's fine. But as you drive the heel back now, okay, you got to feel your glutes fire and your rib cage draw in. Okay, now this is fine and you can totally stay here. Reach that heel. If you need a little more resistance, don't worry, here it comes. And again, the elbow is in front of the band. All right, that elbow comes back to the hip. I rotate the body just slightly here, but you want to make sure you draw in that rib cage and drive the heel. Get the glute to fire. You'll definitely feel it more with the arm reaching because you're applying more tension to the tubing. Exhale up. Now remember the supporting arm, you're not sinking into the shoulder. Push the mat away from you. Right, hold that position there. Let the muscles speak to you because they will speak. I bet you they're speaking now. Hold that last one as you lower. And let's alter position, right? The forearm is here, but rotate the elbow out, right? Lower and reach the heel. Lower and lift. Two more. Lower, lift and scoop back. And now notice I'm not going that forward. I'm going just in midline of the body, which is pretty much where I want you to be because most of the work that I want you to do is behind anyway. You go forward, the body kicks forward, you kick into another muscle, the TFL there, which is probably overworked for a lot of people. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and bring it down slowly. Nice. Okay. Good so far. We're going to take these tubes. No. I know what you're thinking. I'm going to lie down, okay? This is another exercise that we did on one of the other videos. The forearm props, legs are squeezing together. So you're going to take your tubing, elbows are going to be positioned underneath the shoulders, very, very lightly. You don't need to pull hard. But all I want you to do is just pull the tubing apart. Just that little bit. Leave it there. It'll speak to you. Shoulder blades are down the back, collarbone is wide as you look for the belly button. 2, 3, 4, 5. Slide that tailbone down to your heels, back to that space between the thumbs and the wrist. The collarbone is wide. And again. Scoop. Back to that space between the thumbs and the wrist. And again, alternate options here. You can let the kneecaps and lower thighs float off the floor. No, the tubing didn't get slack. Oh no, you're still externally rotating. I know, slide the tailbone down. We're going to do one more of these. And if you want to, you can take a break. Otherwise, tuck your toes under, lift your hips as we start to shift forward and back. Okay, and I think you're going to feel a little bit more in that upper back area here. Okay, you can let one foot float, point as you shift forward, flex as you shift back, point as you shift forward, flex as you shift back, change legs, point and flex back. Remember that the high knee is not elevating, that your ankles, your hips and shoulders and ears are in line, and change the right leg. Right heel floats, it goes out to the side, keep your pelvis level to the mat. And down, draw the rib cage in, left heel flows. Remember, it's more of a reach rather than lift. And down, let's do two more. Draw that hipster belt and slide that tailbone down. Now I know. Oh, did the tubing get slack? Let's do one more. And out, and in, and down. Good, push back to shell stretch. Ooh, that was fun. All right. Little cat camel here, a little revisit from something that we've done before. No, we're not putting a shawl on your back. Okay. So, you just snug it up around the back, okay? You're going to put your hands down. I kind of put the meaty part of my hands on the band. Okay. And again, any of these exercises that I'm doing here, you can probably opt out. Notice the band is in my upper back area. I'm going to turn it sideways, okay? Exhale, scoop, hips to belt, belly button, lower rib cage, and then lengthen tailbone away from the chest and vice versa. And again, exhale, scoop, hips to belt, belly button, lower rib cage, and then back to lengthening. I want you to keep going. Now remember,
The band is going to help you feel more of that upper back rounding, and that's where a lot of people go a little too easily. But on this last one, when you hold it, I want you to think of that hipster belt 2 inches below the belly button and scoop the hipster belt in. Slide the tailbone under the back of the knees. That is not the same thing as pulling back toward the heels. That's not what you're doing here, okay? Get a nice lumbar stretch and then lengthen out. Nicely done here. Toes are tucked under. As we lift the knees, the tailbone's reaching back. I'm going to slide one leg back, slide that tailbone down to the heel, and the other leg back. Collarbone as wide as you shift forward. And back for one. Now the band might roll, and that's fine. And back for 2, but wherever it is, it's going to give you some feedback, that's for sure. Okay, so a lot of times what happens is we start to release our ribs here. And if the band's around the back of your ribs, excellent. It's going to remind you to keep those lower ribs running. You got to draw that hipster belt and slide that tailbone down to the heels. We're going to do 2 more here. We're going to do 1 more here. Nice job, everybody. When you go forward, creep forward on the toes, pull the elbows back towards your hips, lean forward with the chest, let the body come down slowly in 1, not 4 pieces at a time. Yes. All right, your arms are going to reach out. Let's take the tubing off for a minute. Put your hand underneath your forehead. Jiggle out your lower back, release your hips. If you have to do another shell stretch, by all means do so. I'm going to slide down a little bit. And the tubing, I'm sick of them now. You asked for it now. Oh, I aim to please. Okay, forehead down. As your arms reach long, it's really easy to get those shoulders up into the ear. So you know what? Let it happen. Feel where that is first. We have absolutely no neck because you're doing this, right? Okay. Slide the shoulder blades down the back. There you go. Okay. Slight tension. You don't need a lot here. Slight tension on the tubing. So if you have to open up your arms wider, that's fine. The foreheads are on the floor. Now, legs are not just hanging. You are engaged. Big toes, inner heels are pressing, maybe the knees, right? The inner thighs are sprawling inwards, that tailbone sliding down. The hipster belt is drawn. All that's engaged, okay? It doesn't have to be hard, but just a bit, okay? Watch my right hand, okay? That's the one closer to you. Right, the left hand's gonna stay on the mat. The right arm's gonna, now I'm looking underneath my armpit just that little bit. And bring it back. And I have very light tension on the band, gently V'ing the arms away from each other. The right hand stays on the floor, the one closer to you. And the left arm starts to rotate. I'm looking underneath the left armpit. Keep the top of the head, the samurai top knot, reaching away from the tailbone and back down. Inhale here and exhale. The right arm starts to lift. You can press your left armpit towards the mat. Tuck the chin in lightly. And back in. Try to keep the legs engaged. It's not easy. The toenails are down. Okay, the right arm is pressing into the mat, that armpit. Right, the shoulder blade stays down the back. And back. And we're going to try to do 2 more of these. Okay, take a breath, take a rest if you need to. The left arm stays down. The right arm starts to reach. Shoulder blade stays down out of the ear. And back down. Keep the back of the neck on. These are tough. They look easy, but they're really, really not. Right arm stays down. Press the armpit down lightly. And back in. Whoa. Hands come back in. Give yourself a nice shell stretch or a cat camel. So remember, if you can't do a shell stretch, cat camel is fine, but it's really important that you stretch out that lower back. Okay? Good. And before you go back down, home stretch, by the way. Yay, you're psyched. Okay. You're going to, how are we doing on time? Let me see. Oh, we're doing awesome. Okay. So we're going to take our bands across the back. It's going to slide up your back, and that's okay. But remember when you lie down, just don't block, okay? Your hands come down. I know it's going to be a little longer than I think before I get back in the water on my surfboard, but that's okay. All right. Slide the tailbone down towards your knees, okay? Elbows pull back, chest reaches forward, draw the rib cage in, let your body down slow. Legs are already pressing together as the forehead goes down. Arms are going to move out so your elbows are in line with your shoulders. I call it the human cactus position. Your arms are on the floor, okay? I just don't have enough, the mat's not wide enough for me. Okay, hipster belt is drawn in so your glutes are engaged. Don't let the butt just hang out. On your exhale, your head and your arms are hovering off the mat, but keep the chin tucked in lightly. You're looking down. Now, you're choking up on the tubing, drawing those elbows down toward those hips. Really, the shoulder blades are pulling down the back here, okay? Tuck that chin in. We're choking up on the tubing as you push out into a T position. You've done this before. Elbows are bending down and back toward the hips. And again, pushing out into that T position. Elbows are bending down and back toward the hips. Again, pushing out. Press the legs together. Elbows are bending down and back toward the hips. And again, pushing out into that T position. Elbows are bending down and back toward the hips. Let's do 3 more here. Back the neck is long. Remember, you're not looking up, you're looking down. You want to work the neck extensions against gravity, but in a lengthened position. Reach the chest forward, but that is not the same thing as lifting your head, right? And leading you with your chin. So tuck the chin in and reach the chest forward. Elbows are pulling back towards your hips. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and then release. Woo! We're coming up. Nice cat camel if you need it. Shell stretch if you need it. And we're coming up. All right. Yeah, we're going to put those away. Okay, good. Arms are reaching out. You can only do this one way, so don't overthink it, okay? The right arm is going on the bottom. Just follow me, okay? Palms. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, so as the elbows float up, you want to make sure you draw the ribs down. All right? Press the palms lightly against each other. Elbows float up and down for more nice and easy. And again, get that stretch right between the shoulder blades. And back down one more. Press the air out away from you. Interlace the fingers. The right thumb is on the top. Reach the knuckles down. Tuck the chin and open at the chest. Eyes float forward as you release your hands. Circle the elbows forward. Reach back and down. Now, the left arm is going to be on the bottom. Don't overthink it. Just on the bottom. Ta-da! Cool. All right, I'll turn sideways. You can kind of see. As the elbows float up, it's really easy to lean back. So you want to keep the back of the neck long, draw the rib cage down. And a lot of you are going to find one side is different than the other, right? All right, you're pressing the palms lightly against each other. Inhaling up, other one is wide. You just want to get that stretch. I want to keep going in that area between the shoulder blades there, okay? And again. But you also want to maintain good posture here. Pressing down into the sit bones, draw that hipster belt in. Push the ear out away from you. As you interlace the fingers behind you, now the left thumb will be on the top. Slide those knuckles down, puff the chest, feel the shoulder blades slide down the back. Circle forward, open, back, and down. Now, I just remembered something. We on the side leg lift on the second side that I left a whole sequence out. So I'm going to review that right now so you can end the video here. Thank you guys. But for those of you who are going, she didn't do the other side. Well, here it is. Okay. So after you do your it would be the right side here with your shoulder, and you press your arm up and you come back down, and then you put your leg in here and you do your outer leg lift, and you're like, oh my God, my butt is really sore. Then you're going to put your foot down, okay? And that knee press is open, the hip is open. And then we get into that external rotation on this side, right? The elbows rotated outwards, okay? The lower rib cage drawn in. You want to do about 8 of these here. The knees pressing open, the glutes engaged. If it's too tight, then you're going to give yourself a little bit more slack here, okay? So much for a rainy day, okay? And then a slow contraction here. Remember, it's just the upper body. Keep the tailbone still sliding down to the knee. And there's really not a lot of tension on the tubing. And exhale, scoop. Just to get that rotation, get that stretch of the Q1 on that right side. And in, right? And there will be I guess you will have an option, if you'd like to think of it that way, of reaching your tailbone back and scooping under. That's up to you. You might want to open up the legs a little bit more for that, okay? I need to give myself a little bit more slack on this side. All right, so there we go. All right, and out, back, in, and down. And exhale, shoulder blade down into the back, lower rib cage drawn in, and back down. And exhale, scoop. Pushing down into the right leg, right, and down. And again, you can take this variation here, especially if you have any issues where you can't look down without getting dizzy. I totally get that.
Otherwise, scoop and contract the abdominals. Bring it back in and pull the rib cage in. And you know, watch out for those upper traps firing on that right side. You want to keep the shoulders down nowadays, so reach lower. Or give yourself a little bit more slack, or release the tubing, right? And back in, and open, and again, exhale, scoop. And around, keep the tailbone sliding up to the knee that you're supporting on, in, and open, and bring it in. So, nobody's perfect. I hope that helped. You guys have a great day. If I have time, I'll try to do that over in the right sequence, but I think you got the idea. Thanks for joining me, and I'll try to give you another one that's more standing with the bands and maybe some weights. Right? Enjoy. Stay safe, guys.